Hello. Thank you for joining me for another video. Today I want to talk about confidence and what makes people confident and how can you get more confidence. It sounds like one of those shows where they're like, follow this 5-step rule and you're gonna learn how to be a confident public speaker or something, and you just have to do these 5 things, and it's never as easy as that. I didn't want that to sound corny like that. So I went for a job interview this morning for a nanny position. So after redoing my CV, I've been doing nannying not nannying but childcare for 9 years. Like, that's a really long time. And there are 2 parts of this experience this morning where confidence came into it, and one was about money and about asking for money, and the other one was just about the interview in general. And you know, I thought about it like it was arranged a few days ago, and you know, I've been to so many nanny interviews and so many just interviews in general. I just need my coffee. Yeah, just so many nanny interviews in childcare, and you know, having 9 years experience, I can do nanny with my eyes closed. You know, I've done it quite a lot, and I was also thinking, you know, I've sort of taken I've taken a gap where I did events and I just felt really rusty, and I was like, oh, maybe I should research some stuff for it. I was like, maybe they'll ask me things, like they're first time parents, so I was like, maybe they're gonna ask me like about different kinds of learning style and stuff as well. And I just kind of had to go over in my head, like, what do you do with a 2-year-old, and what are their developmental stages that they should be at, what are you striving to help them with, about their eating and sleeping. And I always like to be organized and everything anyway, so I was kind of going all over these things, and then it was just sort of random, so I would think about it and then it would go. And then last night I thought, I'm gonna get the train there, so I'll think about it on the train, like just before, like just go over it. I don't need to like intensely research for it. And then this morning I was early, because I'm always early for my interviews, and I was sort of sat there, and I normally, like before an interview, I don't really mind interviews. I always see it as like you're interviewing them. Like, I always go for jobs that I want, and if I don't necessarily want them but I, you know, need them for like money or whatever, you know, I still like show up as my best self because you want the job, obviously. Anyway, going off point there. And yeah, I like normally get that like pre-interview nerve where you kind of have that, oh god, what are they going to think of me, and how you know, what if they don't like me, and what if I don't know how to answer a question, and just those general nerves. Like, if you know, if you've been to interviews and you don't really like interviews, you know exactly what I'm talking about. They're just the pre-interview nerves. And of course I've had it, you know, even though I kind of do like interviews. I like meeting new people, and especially when I feel confident about something, it's nice to kind of show off what you can do and stuff. This is really wobbly because it's balanced on a stool on my Mac. My phone is on my Mac on the stool. This is really professional. So it keeps wobbling when I move. Anyway, and I was just sat there, and I was sort of writing some things down, doing some social media stuff, and I thought, I don't have that feeling of nervousness, that pull, the butterflies, where you're like, god, anxiety about meeting people and stuff, especially in this time when it's a bit weird, when you don't really know how to interact with people, because you're like, I'm going into their home, but do I touch anything? Like, you know, you kind of like think about those things as well. It's really strange. And they knew I was getting the train, but I was like, are they still happy for me to come in and touch things in their house? Like, it was a bit bizarre. Anyway, and I just thought, I don't have that. And then it just got me thinking, how did I get like that? You know, how did I get confident? And yeah, obviously the initial, like, well, this is not the first time I've done this, and I've been in childcare for a while, and I know what I'm talking about, but how did I get there? Because you can be knowledgeable about something and still be unconfident. And then we're gonna go back to that part, but then afterwards I had the interview, and it was, you know, it was quite hard to read them, but I feel like it went well, and I was like super relaxed and just asking them questions, and they were asking me questions. And then I left, and less than 5 minutes later, I think it was literally like 3 minutes later, they said they were going to think about it over lunch and get back to me. And then yeah, like 3 minutes later I got a message and they'd offered me the job. And I was just like, I kind of knew that they would. And I think that was, you know, then I was thinking about how I thought about the confidence and how did I know that, and that feeling of like, yeah, like that went really well. And you know, maybe that's a lot of things to do with the maturity and experience. And then during the interview they asked me about money, and people don't, especially professional interviews, they generally offer a salary or like to negotiate, or I sound really really farmerish then, technically from Wiltshire but I don't really say or. Anyway, yeah, they could sort of offer you one, or they ask what your salary is like in your previous job or whatever if it's in the same industry. And I wasn't expecting them to directly ask me, and I'm normally prepared for like any questions. I'm like, even if I'm normally over prepared, like if they're going to ask me something I know, like I thought about things that they didn't even ask me, but I was like, well, it's relevant, so I'm gonna be prepared. And they asked me, and I told them a salary from my last job. And at the time I kind of thought like, I'm just gonna tell them that, but then when I came out of it I was like, why didn't I leave room for negotiation and ask for what I feel I'm worth? And that was definitely a confidence thing, and that's like the biggest thing that I took from this, was like, I know I'm worth more. With 9 years worth of experience, a qualification, I've done my paediatric first aid, I am worth more. And I then asked for more money, so they confirmed with me a few things, and then I asked them for more. And I felt really like I was just out of my room, like just messaging. I felt really like just that angst of like, I don't know about that, like what if they say no or whatever, you know. And they're just going back on yourself. It didn't, like, for me, I don't like being unprofessional, and I feel like that is unprofessional, is saying one thing and then saying another later on. I did not, obviously not say, oh yeah, by the way, I've changed my mind. I put it in a way that made sense and that I think was fair. So we'll see about that. But anyway, the point is the two things was about the pre-interview confidence, and then about the worth and how much I'm worth. And I think in a way they do kind of, you know, overlap each other. I think confidence is something that a lot of people struggle with in different areas. You know, I'm quite a confident person, not just in my career but just as a person, in myself in general. And I think it's kind of an umbrella of things, because, you know, confidence is a lot of high self-esteem, self-confidence in what you're doing and your knowledge and your ability to actually do something or know something. And you get that from inner work, and you get that from external factors as well. You know, you get some children that are very very confident, and that carries them through into adulthood, and then you get children that are confident and suddenly they go to school or something, come incredibly shy. And then you get people that are never confident, you know, they're always nervous about interviews and asking for things, and just maybe generally physically in themselves they're not confident. And you know, how do we change that when we want more confidence? Because you could say, I want more confidence, but it's not something you can just turn on and off. You know, you can't just say, right, I want to be more confident at this, and then go and do it and be more confident. It's something that takes time, and that you have to repeatedly put yourself in situations that make you uncomfortable. And it's horrible to hear that, because I think 9 times out of 10 people have heard that before. You know, they say, just do something that makes you uncomfortable, but you don't want to. It's scary and unnerving. I think I am a very tenacious and ambitious person, and when I know I want something, I tend to go very tunnel vision, and like, that's what I want, and I just go all out until I get it. And I think even being a little bit shy and unconfident when I was younger, I still had that feeling of I want this, and therefore I had to overcome those points of being, you know, unconfident. And that, I think, looking back, I wouldn't have said it to start with. Like, if someone said to me, you need to put yourself in situations where are uncomfortable, and then you're going to grow and you're going to get more experience and more confidence, I would have been like, no, I don't want to do that, because it's scary. It's scary. But looking back, I never really thought about it. I just went, I want this, I need to do this in order to have this. And you know, the best advice I can give is do things that make you uncomfortable. And that's not necessarily, it depends on what area it is, but let's say interviews, for example. Say you're in a job and you're working towards a promotion, or you want a pay rise but you don't have the confidence to ask. Do things that are similar. So maybe even if you're not looking for another job, go to a job interview for a similar job and put yourself in that position where if you don't get it, you're not going to lose anything, but you will only gain by getting it. And you also, that opens you up to new opportunities that you didn't know that you had before. Also, I'm very much like, go and find opportunities, go and find opportunities and, you know, seek them out instead of waiting for them to come to you. Interviews, you know, practice them and be prepared and organised, you know, in terms of things like that. It's very much like being organised and just knowing your stuff. Like, you know, you can still know things and be unconfident, but if you go into an interview and you are not prepared and you don't have questions and you haven't gone over your qualifications that you have and things, then you have no one to blame but yourself. So being prepared is definitely one. Taking opportunities that you might not necessarily want or need, but just doing them anyway, because then that's going to give you the experience that you need. I mean, I could talk about confidence all day because it comes into everything, you know, even if it's just physically going out. Like, some people can't leave the house without putting makeup on because they're not confident about the way that they look. You know, there is lots of different situations. I think just today, in terms of talking about confidence and putting yourself in positions that, I think it's just really important to put yourself in a position that makes you uncomfortable. And me asking for more money was me realising that I did that because I was unconfident in saying what I was worth, but then on review was like, I'm worth more than what I said I was, and now I have this little window of opportunity to actually correct the issue. And it comes down to, what is the worst that will happen? They say no. It's the old, if you don't ask, you don't get, and if you don't try, you don't know. All of these things. And the only way you're going to get from here, from your unconfidence to confident, is by filling that gap with acting out a little bit silly, looking a bit stupid sometimes, messing up and going through experiences. Like, there's definitely some times that I've been through stuff and I'm like, yeah, that was really dumb, or I didn't really need that experience, but I tried it anyway because it gave me an opportunity to grow. And I'm proud of myself for doing it. And I feel all grown up because I'm like, I asked for more money, and it seems silly, you know. Some people just say it's a simple transaction, you know, it's a job, and you're offering a service, and they're going to pay for you. And I really wish it was easier than that, you know. When people say it's easier said than done, this is exactly one of those times. So yeah, I'm proud of myself for doing that, and yeah, just remembering, you know, when I left one of my other nanny jobs last year to go into events, it was easy to walk out of that job. Well, it wasn't, not from my heart, it wasn't. But, you know, in job wise, it was easy for me to say, right, I'm doing this, and I had to have the confidence and the self-esteem and the ego to know I'm not going to be good at this, and I'm going to mess up, and it's going to be embarrassing and hard. And I was 24 at the time. And, you know, I was like 24, and going from a career where you're competent and independent to starting right at the bottom is, yeah, I never looked at it in an egotistical way, but it definitely was a wake-up call and a realization that a different industry demands a different version of you, and it's important to experience being at the bottom and how that makes you feel, and being a rookie and starting again, and that also adds to your confidence as well. You know, I left a long career to go and start something. I had no clue what I was doing, like no clue. And you know, it turned out very well, and I think because I had the initial, I'm gonna mess up, I'm not gonna be good at this, but I will be one day, and having that, just, that's what it's all about. You just have to go, I'm not going to be good at this, and I don't know what I'm talking about, but I'm going to learn, and people that I work with are going to teach me how to do this, and I will one day be as good as them. You know, everybody starts at the bottom. Nobody knows what they're doing. No one knows. Nobody knows. It's funny, when you're little you think that adults know, like they know, then you get to adulthood and you're like, nobody knows. It's just this illusion that we have that everybody knows. Anyway, so just a little chat about confidence. And again, confidence, you know, it comes to me doing these videos. This is my fourth. I don't know what has happened to my language since I've been in quarantine. I don't even know. I don't know. This is my fourth video, and you know, when I first started it, I want to be a public speaker. I want to be a paid public speaker, and I want to be a keynote speaker and a motivational speaker, and I'm not going to be good at it if I don't practice and talk about things that I want to talk about and talk to people. And at the moment, you know, with everything going on, I don't have the luxury of saying, oh, I'm going to volunteer at the WI and do a talk on something, or I'm going to start going to these meetings and I get to introduce the speakers there or something. You know, I don't have that right now, and I want to do that. But I want to stand up in front of hundreds of people and talk, and have the confidence and the articulation to be able to say what I mean. And this is all part of that. You know, this is me learning how I talk right now and getting the confidence to be crap at it, because right now I listen back to some of my videos and I'm like, you need to shut up. Like, there's being genuine, and then there's like, yeah, you need to stop talking. So yeah, this is confident too, and I knew that these, you know, first could be 50, 100 videos that I do are not going to be good. Maybe what I have to say when I get to the point eventually, that has meaning, but you know, I've never done it before. But I know that I will be good one day, and I know that I have the luxury of being able to video something that I have to say and put it out there for everyone on my platform to look at. Like, that's a privilege. That I'm so fortunate that I get that. I'm really grateful. So I'm using my abundance of gratitude and my platforms and my voice and my lack of confidence to excel me forward into something that I really want to do. And I guess, you know, like I said, confidence is an umbrella, and when you really scale it back to why we do something, you know, it's part of the reason that I do this is because my why is so big. You know, when you really know what you want, or you really want something, you are willing to put yourself in a position where you're scared, you're peeing your pants scared, but you jump out the plane anyway. And I always say that, I'm like, why do I do this? Why do I do these crazy things? But I've never skydived in my life. I will one day. But I've heard people explaining the feeling of it, and I can just imagine the feeling of it. And I just keep saying, I'm going to jump out the plane anyway, because I might be scared, but at least I did it. Like, even if I feel like my organs have exited my body and I pee myself a little bit and I scream when I fall out the aeroplane, at least when I get to the bottom I can be like, I did it and I'm still here, and it was the best experience ever, and I saw the world from way up there, thousands and thousands of feet above the earth. And that's what I want to do with life. I want to see everything from a bird's eye view, and I'll always jump out the plane anyway, always. I think also because even if I've been really scared about doing something, it's always turned out okay, or it's always turned out better than I thought it was going to be. You know, like when people take opportunities and they're like, I'm so glad something didn't work out because this was way better than I expected, or this is what I actually wanted. You know, that's basically what it is as well. You know, I have done so many things where I'm like, I'm going to give it a go because it's an opportunity and I needed a job or something, and then it hasn't gone to plan, or I had to do something I didn't want to do and it's actually turned out better than I wanted, or I learned something valuable from it, and that's the takeaway from it, you know. So I'm gonna shut up now because this is nearly 21 minutes long. Thank you if you listened to the whole video. I am slowly getting better at talking, and yeah, we'll just keep going, keep jumping out of planes. And if you don't want to jump out of a plane just yet, get on the plane. Just get on the plane. Just get on the plane. Promise you won't regret it.